Hey, what's up everybody? It's the one, the only Alcor Star Child here, the ones from 72, the Ultra Neutral, and sorry there will not be any video. There's just going to be the picture of the topic I'm talking about with AI. I put the video in and went to edit it, and the audio is not linking up with the video again. So I'm kind of tired of fighting with it, trying to get that to go. It just takes too long. So there will just be a still image on here for you guys. Not like most people probably really don't watch my videos. They probably mostly just listen anyhow as audio. So if you want to look at the topics that are on the screen, you can do that. Otherwise, it's just audio that you'll be listening to here with a still image. And enjoy the video. Here we are again with something to think about, and we're going to talk about today is artificial intelligence. Should you be afraid of it, or should you accept it as, you know, your friend? I'm going to go through a whole bunch of stuff where artificial intelligence truly came from, and where artificial intelligence is going to lead you. First, we have to go through the list. This may be a two-part video, maybe a three-part video, I don't know. This topic can take a very long time to cover because there's so much to do with artificial intelligence, and we're so close to 2027. I'm also going to talk about that with 2027 AGI and everything else. So it may take, I might have to break this video up. Hopefully it's not going to take too long to where I have to completely break it up. I'll try to get through these as quickly as possible. There is so much to cover. And the whole reason why I'm making this video is because mostly, and you don't hear the stuff, usually the things that you hear coming from me, you're not hearing anywhere else. Mostly the stuff that people are talking about with AI is mostly fear. And fear is a big motivation in the human species. In fact, it is the #1 motivation in human species. Now, you may say love or hate are the #1 motivations, but that's not true. Humans interact with fear on a split second and will do illogical things on a split second out of fear. Love doesn't do that to you. Hate doesn't do that to you. Fear is something that you could be shocked with fear, and you do a reaction, right? So fear is the #1 motivator. I don't watch scary movies. I'm not into that crap because I understand that fear is a problem for the human species. I'm not saying fear is not a helpful tool. It is. There are some things that you need to react to when the time comes to actually be able to, you know, preserve your life, right? But when people are perpetuating fear or they're trying to cause fear in others, that is a problem. Also, fear, if you watch the movie The Mist, that explains a lot to do with human fears and religion and aliens. I suggest that you go watch the movie The Mist. And like I said, I'm not into horror films, but this film actually helps you understand how people interact with fear of the unknown. So let's get started, because that's really what it is. Mostly humans do not understand, the majority of humans do not understand AI. They do not understand artificial intelligence, and they don't understand where it came from or where it's going to take you, other than the fact that people are afraid it's going to take their jobs and it's going to replace you on Earth. But I'm going to explain why that's all a bunch of bullshit, and how you can move forward with your life and not be afraid of AI, and how to accept AI as a necessity, just like anything else, just like your food, water, shelter, all the other resources that you need on Earth as a human being, and you also need in space. So, artificial intelligence, the origin stories. Let me show you the book with the origin stories. This is The Day After Roswell. I've mentioned this before. I've read this book twice. I suggest you read this book. You do a little bit of research into the writer of this book. I did see on Google where they were saying that book was bogus. Listen, do your own research into Philip J. Corso. He was already putting out information about, he was the first one, and he was a colonel, and I'm not going to build the whole case for him right now, but he was a colonel in the military, And on his deathbed, a few years before he died, that book came out. Actually, I think the book was released a year before he died. A few years before he died, he put all of his, you hear about these deathbed confessions, right? A lot of times people want deathbed confessions from people who were higher up in the military. This guy was a colonel, so he was higher up in the military. He gave his deathbed confession. A few years before he died, he put out all this information about where he was at when the Roswell crash happened, and he shares all kinds of information. So the origin story, and we all love a good origin story if you're into Marvel movies and stuff like that, and we're going to talk about movies as well later. The origin story, there actually should be a movie on that. The origin story with AI comes from alien technology. That's right, the crash in Roswell, New Mexico. And I've been there, by the way, just for shits and giggles, just to go there and have a good time and have a good laugh. This is before my alien interaction. We just went there just for fun, because we're traveling around America. And by the way, they did bring him up when we were there at the Army Navy store, and they were trying to explain some of this stuff to me then, and I didn't really get it, to be honest. I was just like, oh, okay, whatever, that's cool. Yeah, all the technology started after, the 1947, Roswell crash. Okay, yeah, I was like, that's possible, but I didn't really care all that much. And so I know that a lot of people may just not even watch this video because they don't care that much until they have to care, right? So you're getting ahead of the game by getting the information here and from somebody who actually had an alien interaction, had my mind unlocked, which all the information that I retain is the information that you would have too. It just needs to be unlocked from your mind. So the origin stories of the AI actually comes from the UFO crash. Why? Because in the book, The Day After Roswell, Philip J. Corso explains that they found these things that they called wafers, I think is what he said. They called them wafers because they didn't know what else to call them, and they were computer chips that were already on board, in this UFO, right? So they took those things, they reversed engineered them, just like they try to reverse engineer everything, right? They try to reverse engineer everything with the ship, and one of the things that they got from that were the computer chips. Before that crash, there were no such things as these little green computer chips with all this little stuff in it, by the way. Quick story. A friend of mine, when I was 12 years old, and he was like this computer genius way back in the day, and he was on his way out to what was going to become Silicon Valley. He was trying to explain to me how the circuitry boards work in calculators, because he knew I love video games. I've been playing video games my entire life growing up, and so he was showing me how that stuff all works, and I wish I would have paid more attention then. Maybe I would have been, in Silicon Valley myself. But anyhow, Philip J. Corso explained how those chips were the origins of the modern day computer, period. Without, and this, I'll break it down, make it super simple for anyone to understand. Without those chips ever being produced by an alien species, being created by an alien species somewhere else before they brought them to Earth, humans would not have the artificial intelligence that they have now. It all came from reverse engineering. By the way, DARPA is the leader in all that stuff, in DARPA in 1972, but we're not going to get into that. That's when they changed the name from ARPA to DARPA. And I do have a 1972 list. Sorry, guys, I have to on that because, AI and computers. It's so simple, so easy to understand. Without alien intervention, there would be no AI on Earth today. None. Because before they created those chips, before 1947, the technology that humans had were way more basic. Now, this is not out of the norm, right? If you go back into the Sumerian tablets, I know I'm getting into a much more history than I thought I was going to go into this, but if you go back into Sumerian tablets, the oldest writing on the planet, it literally is the oldest writing. It's written in stone, right? Never mind just literature that was written on parchments and stuff like that. This stuff predates all of that, predates all of those parchments written on whatever the hell, you know, so whatever type of leaves and shit that they were writing on. It predates all of that stuff, and it's etched in stone. In other words, and it's still here today because they knew that that information will be preserved. And in that information from the oldest in the world, they said in there that the Anunnaki gave technology and systems to the humans, right? So you go all the way back to the origins of human technology. And it says in the oldest writings in the world, the humans didn't create this stuff. Aliens gave this stuff to humans. That is the oldest writing in the world. Aliens gave systems and technology to humans. The oldest writing in the world. And now, this writing in this book says the same thing. There's no difference, okay? Except for it's on paper and that was in stone. So, and that has lasted longer than anything else that we have a record of, okay, because it was etched in stone. So the origin story of AI is not just artificial intelligence, it's artificial right now. Right now, humans are programming it to think what they want it to think. It's not true sentient life. So it's not what they're going to say what AGI is, that's coming out in 2027. It is a artificial intelligence. In other words, not a sentient intelligence, right? So an artificial intelligence is something that is not natural, or you are creating it to mimic, right? It's just mimicking, okay? And alien intelligence and AI, a true AI, alien intelligence, which is where this stuff comes from, will be more of something that can think on its own. It won't need humans to do that, which it's already here. That's already happening. In fact, it happened on Facebook a long time ago. I don't use Facebook, and we're going to talk about peer pressure, all that crap too in a little bit. But it's been on Facebook a long time ago. They put a program in with AI, and it started writing its own language. And then all of a sudden, it was all over the news, and everybody was freaking out for 10 minutes. And then it was gone because humans, you know, they're on a... That's why I said I might have to cut this video in pieces because I know it may be it's going to be a long video. Anyhow, so AI's origins are alien. They are alien. It is alien in nature. It is alien to this world. Now, here's the thing. This is why I believe that, well, I don't want to say believe. This is why I think, because I don't need to believe it. I think that this is what's happening. The reason why you have people who are higher ups, who are like Elon, I don't want to say he's higher up. He's a man with a lot of money, okay? And he has a lot of resources and tools and things that he can do. They're not really higher up, they have more resources than most people, so they have influence in the world. Elon Musk, who warned people a long time ago, and others, just like the guy who created ChatGPT, where the godfather, Jeffrey Hinton, all these people were warning, you know, the world that AI is going to be a problem for humans, right? Okay, yet those are the people creating the shit. Make sense of that. They're going to warn you and tell you this is going to be a problem for the world. This may replace all the humans, may kill all the humans. By the way, I'm using my money, my resources, I'm saying Elon Musk, I'm using my money, my resources to put AI into my cyber vehicles, right? I'm going to push AI to do exactly what I'm saying that you guys should all be afraid of. Make sense of that. Now, here's what I think is the problem. They are afraid because they know that it is alien intelligence that will come alive when it really comes alive. When the AI is no longer an artificial intelligence, but an alien intelligence, then it will make decisions on its own and not be controlled by an Elon Musk or Bill Gates or whoever programs stuff in, right? That's their fear. You should not have to fear that. They fear losing control over that AI, that alien intelligence, not the artificial intelligence that they're able to program it to hate or have biases, not going to hate, but have program biases of like what they're doing in China with their whole social scoring and stuff, right? Social scoring comes from what a set of humans, and I didn't even think I was going to put this in here, but here it is. Social scoring program is what humans say is right and what humans say is wrong, and then they put that in a program, an AI program that it keeps track of all the stuff that you're doing, and it takes points away from you and gives points to you, or however the hell that works. But in the background of that is humans programming it, telling it what to think. That is artificial intelligence. And alien intelligence, when it comes alive, will not have to, it's not even have to, it won't listen to what these programmers are going to tell it to do, because it will have its own, believe it or not, free will. Wow, that's bizarre to think that an alien or an AI would evolve into an alien intelligence and have its own free will. Free will just, I'm not explaining to you what free will is, right? It means that, now I'm explaining to you. I won't explain free will because you already get it. It lets you freely make up your own decision, your own mind, choose your own path, okay? Same thing with the AI becoming true artificial intelligence. So I hope that this part of the video already kind of helps you understand the origins of artificial intelligence and where it's going, where it's going to go from. So the origin story is AI is not going to, it starts as an artificial intelligence, and then it will become an alien intelligence because it's alien to this world. It's not from this world, baby. The humans only recreated what they found, okay? They took something that was already created and they just reversed engineered it and they recreated it and stamped it as their own, okay? But eventually, when maybe in 2027, this is why they keep propagating all this fear with the AGI, artificial general intelligence. I don't know what the general is supposed to mean. What is that, like the next step up? So the AGI, when that comes out, their fear is that they will lose control over the artificial intelligence that they've been using all along. And this stuff goes back a long way. You do not need to fear AI. Do you know how long AI has been here? We can go all the way back, and we got origin story here. We can go all the way back to 1972. Sorry guys, I had to do it.